Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And got a good one for you today because the hurricane's gone. It's just a beautiful sunny day out. But we're going to cover banking shenanigans where the banks are closing accounts for basically no reasons again. And we're going to cover this. So please, before I get into it, please take a second. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And today we have a sponsor. The sponsor is Silver Mountain Resources, and we'll talk about them a little later. But let's get into it. You know, we've talked about this in the past, that the banks have been closing accounts and doing different nefarious things against us, the depositors and business owners and things like that. But now, I've gotten a bunch of complaints that I wanted to look into this. And what's interesting is Wells Fargo Bank, these people got fined, $196 million for setting up bogus accounts. They're closing accounts if they don't like what your industry does. Now, what's happened over the course of the last couple weeks is that Rolling Stone magazine did an article that started with women that are in the adult trade, okay, let's just put it that way, and how they shut their accounts down. And you can sit there and say, oh, these people should never have a bank account down. They shouldn't be in business. Okay, it goes much further than that. And what they've done is they've taken businesses that they don't like. And if they think you're in the adult business, they have shut down accounts for people. Now, think about this. If you run a nightclub, there are people that have lost their businesses. If you are a musician, there are people that have lost their accounts because of this. I mean, this is crazy, guys. And the worst part about this is that they're seizing the bank accounts from people and not giving them the funds. So it's not like hey, listen, don't bank here anymore. We don't want you here. It's not like that. It's there that somehow you're doing something criminal. So Wells Fargo is the main culprit on this, that is just closing accounts right now. Now, think about this. This goes much further than that, because what they're doing is, if you do anything that they feel is questionable in any way, which, again, who's to decide what's questionable right now? But there have been things that have had, there's businesses that have had their accounts closed for, 100 reasons over the course of the last couple of years. And it's ridiculous that these banks have done this to people and just destroyed these people's lives and not given them the money back. And they have to sue and they have to chase them. But think about this. If you're a bartender and you get paid a lot in cash and you really don't have receipts and things like that, and the bank just seizes your money. Well, one bartender had that happen to her. She's a law student that had that happen to her. So the evil bartender that's going to law school got her money seized. We're seeing this time and again. We're seeing, women's groups, okay, that there was one, a couple years ago called Skirt Club, which was a dating site for women, and they didn't like that. They didn't like that it was all female dating site, and HSBC, I believe, is the one that shut them down. But again, where do you draw the line with this? Because the thing that really freaked me out was I've met a tremendous amount of musicians, and these guys, a lot of them do gigs for cash. Well, they'll play here. I got a $150 gig. I got a $500 gig. And yeah, the majority of it's in cash. And then what do? Deposit it and pay their bills. So it's kind of crazy that these people are losing everything right now. But what's worse is that the bank is doing this for whatever reason right now. And again, is it a threat? Is it dangerous? Well, the bank is deciding if it is. Is your business questionable? What does the word questionable mean? Well, okay, I'll tell you guys a story. I was in business about 15 years ago. Guy calls me to say, hey, I hear you guys, I wanted to find out what you did and why we're in business together and why we're partners. And I'm like, who is this? And come to find out it was the manager of the local bank that I had a credit line with. And I was not polite to him on the phone at all, and used profanity, and I think my favorite word at the time was ass clown, and I called him an ass clown because he was an idiot. And he said, well, we're partners. And I want to know why I want to be in this business, because we're partners. And he kept saying that. I said, okay, how do I advertise? How do I get my business? How do I get paid? What do we do? How do we deliver things? I asked him all the questions. I don't know. But we're partners. You're not a partner, sir. You're a bank. You're somebody that we use to facilitate what we do. Well, I can shut your account down and we can call that credit line in. Really? Okay, you do that, and I'm not going to sue the bank. I'm going to sue you. And that's kind of a hothead. My daughter said that I had a problem being called, that I would go to default a-hole, that the lever would get switched and it would go to default a-hole real quick. So with that being said, as being a man of my word, I also went to my attorney the next day, and when they started to mess with this and wouldn't let me use the credit line, I said, you better open it or I'm going to sue you. And so needless to say, over about 45 days time, we ended up settling with these guys. And I wanted, you want the credit line called in? Sure. I won't sue you. I want a 15-year term to pay it back, which was ridiculous. And I think that they either gave me 7 or 10 years, something preposterous. But again, you have to be able to back stuff like this up and go after people when they do things like this that are absolutely awful. So with the PPP loans, with all of that money that was given out to people, so many people got funded, okay, that it was a lifeline. It would have been the savior of their business. And businesses, banks like Chime, never gave the people their money, just froze the account. Well, what are you doing with such a large deposit? What are you doing with $8,000? We would never entrust you with something like that. We would never give you a loan like that. And you got $8,000? Okay, think about how insane that is. Well, right now, musicians, and the greatest musician joke is, name a guy that will put $5,000 worth of equipment in a $500 car. A musician. So, needless to say, the artists, the people that create, painters. How about this? How about a painter, a woman that paints goddess-inspired paintings, okay? Well, they didn't like that, so they shut her account down too. So let me describe this to you. These were larger women that she painted, and voluptuous, bigger, okay? Goddess-inspired, okay? But for them to say that that's not right, you guys, I'm telling you, you can mark my words. This is coming soon. It's coming to a theater near you. I don't like what you do. Now, you can sit there and say, damn, these people are in the adult entertainment industry. They're terrible. Okay. How about the guy that wrote me, that started all of this, who was a dangerous guy? He's a landscaper. He mows lawns and cuts hedges for a living and gets paid with cash discounts for people and credit cards, okay? And has very few checks. So it's very few checks, credit cards, and cash, dreaded cash. But he's clearly a criminal, okay, by doing the hedge and making sure people's lawns are green. So they did that to him. And again, people, when do you draw the line? When do you say enough is enough? And again, I want you to think about this. I've said this before. Do you walk into your bank and say, hi, my name is Jessica, and I sell at the local street fair, and this is what I do for a living, and I make a cheese spread that really goes good on Doritos, and it's what I'm into, okay? But this is how I get paid. You ever done that? Because I do it all the time. Now, think about this. Andrew, Carl, Stacy, Kevin, Brandon, and Iris are the people that work at the banks that I know of, all the different banks I deal with, okay? Because I walk in there and say hi to those people, okay? Try that. Try doing this, because, wait a second, then you have a fighting chance. Or are you going to be in darkness? Are you going to be, Slim Shady reefer shop? You know what I mean? It's like ridiculous that people don't introduce themselves and don't try to fix things like this, because I'm telling you guys, this is not, a rarity. This is going to happen more and more often because they don't want to do business with us. They want to get rid of as many accounts as they can. They want to shut down as many bank accounts as they can. And this is just a matter of time until they do this. So Share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys, because have you seen this? Have you ever had anything like this happen to you? Again, I always tell people to question this, to go into the bank, to let them know. And I just did this week. I did this. So, you know, these dangerous musicians, these dangerous women that want to do something different, that want to paint, okay, sell things at street fairs and get paid by cash. It happens. But again, they have to pay their bills. They have to pay taxes. So they have to put this stuff in the bank. You know, they use Venmo, they use PayPal, they use things like that. So let me know about this. There's more to talk about this, but share your thoughts on all this stuff so far, guys. Let's talk about our sponsor, Silver Mining Resources. Their ticker symbol is AGMRF. Now, one thing that everybody's asked me for is to get into something early. And the advantage to AGMRF is that basically it's like an IPO. It's like a brand new company. But this was set up by basically mining legends. You know, you have people like Eric Sprott, who has such a vast background when it comes to mining success, when it comes to precious metals. And then you have Jose Vaquera. Jose's grandfather started Buenaventura and wanted to leave the company and go out on his own. So what did he do? He started Silver Mountain Resources. Now, take a look at this, guys. They've got the equivalent of 80 million ounces of silver in their mine. This is such an early company, and it is under 15 cents a share right now. 15 cents, guys. So this is something that's going to be incredibly lucrative. It's got a lot of heavyweights, like Franklin Templeton has invested into it, and you have only a 24% retail ownership that's available right now. All of the original investors are buying more and more shares right now, and it's very early stage. I'll tell you a little bit more about it, but take a look at AGMRF. Now, why is silver such a good investment? Well, here's a few reasons. We use over 1 billion ounces a year worldwide of silver. We have been in a manufacturing deficit for silver. It is the best conductor for electricity out there. It's used throughout the solar industry for photovoltaic panels and the medical industry. You know how many medical instruments are made with silver? Most people don't. And I didn't know that until I got in the medical industry. Now, look at the automobile industry. Look at cars. With all the EV cars, they use silver, and it needs to be in the production of cars. Now, the price has been kept down through all this time, and we know that, but it can't be held down forever. It's going to be a safe haven asset, just like gold is. And AGMRF is something you should take a look at, because not only do they have potential for more silver, but they've got also potential to find gold in their mines as well. They have over $17 million in cash. They're a fully funded company. They are debt-free right now. They have players in this business that are legends in mining that you have to take a look at. Now, think about this. With the 80 million ounces that they have at their disposal right now, and their $17 million in cash, minus the expenses and the cost of running the business, it basically brings the price of that silver down to 16 cents an ounce that you're buying into. So, guys, if you don't think that this is a winner, this thing is, you know, anytime I look at companies that are recommending me under 25 cents, I'm like, let's take a look at that, because if it does shoot up, which this is anticipated to, then you've got yourself something that could take off and be potentially worth quite a bit. Now, I am not giving you financial advice. Do your own due diligence. The company research report will be below as well. But I love companies like this that have absolute winners attached to it, and have, you know, like they said, mining legends that are attached to this, that have all jumped ship from other places to come to Silver Mountain Resources with ticker symbol AGMRF. Take a look at it today. And again, you know, do your own due diligence, but I think this thing's an absolute winner. And I think it's exciting right now to get involved with something so early, which is what people wanted. Again, under 15 cents a share. AGMRF, guys. Take a look at it today, okay? Now, I always look at industries and what's going to be hot, what's not, whether you like it or not, because I'm not one of the guys that likes it. I think electric cars are ridiculous. And I think the fact that people are going to spend $322 billion in electric vehicles in 2022 is insane. The story is below on that. And it's only going to go up from there because we're going to have to be forced to do this. Now, driving here today, I had a wonderful individual when I went by a grocery store that was charging his electric vehicle and had some free coupon that I didn't understand, and I wasn't interested, and he refused to go on camera with me, so he's an even bigger jerk. But he got to get so much free power from this coupon, and he was going from charging station to charging station because he's a cheap guy. A CMF is what I call them, and the first word's cheap. You can figure out the rest of that. Anyways, so Mr. CMF got his coupon, and somebody had said he had been there over an hour already doing that. So I'm sure he probably saved a few bucks, $15, $20, and got himself some free power. Now, the next thing that is absolutely insane is the charging stations are a great place to get robbed at. And they're concerned about the criminality that's happening at charging stations because people are parked there so long. You don't hear about this at gas stations, that you drive up and someone's going to rob you at a gas station, but it can happen at the charging station. The other thing is that the charging stations are absolutely becoming a homeless festival here in LA. There's one in Los Angeles that the homeless characters are hanging out and sleeping at the charging station because there's lights and things like that and pretty bells, okay? Again, where do you just draw the line and say no to this stuff? So it gets kind of ridiculous at this point. But again, hackers hacking the charging stations. That's the other thing. They're going in there and figuring out ways to get your data and your credit cards and your accounts and things like that, your email and your passwords. And that's what nobody needs right now. So just beautiful out there today, isn't it? So no one wants to talk about that. Now, stat out of Canada that somebody sent me is how Prince Valiant, or what's his name, Trudeau, was talking about how they created all these jobs. And somebody did a great study that said that 80% of all the jobs in Canada are in the public sector that were created during the health crisis. So lucky you guys get to work for the government, and only 20% were created in the private sector. And the 20% that were created in the private sector, it looks like the majority of those were in the service industry, which is the lowest paying industry. And again, it's just stat after stat after stat that there is, craziness when it comes to all this money that was given away. The other thing, speaking of this, is that there is a tremendous amount of leftover grant money in the US here. So there's a link with a story if you guys want this grant money, because it's available out there. You can start a business, and they have certain industries that they will give money to, which are free. In other words, grants you don't have to pay back. Now, one thing that I forgot to cover earlier that helped start all this was I had a client, or a subscriber, pardon me, that wrote me about a friend of his who's starting to not get paid on time from certain people. And his biggest culprit now is Wells Fargo, okay? So Wells Fargo's not paying their bills. And did I have any suggestions or anything like that? But here's the thing, guys. When the economy starts to turn south, and look at, 06, 07, 08, and people that don't pay people, I'm telling you this because I've been in a business that was failing. And people act like they invented the stories that they come up with to delay things. If we do this, will you do this? Now is the time to tighten the reins right now. And the landscaper that's not getting paid for 90 days from Wells Fargo is preposterous. Hey, listen, we're going to change our terms. This is you as the company. We want net 15 now on these net 30. Well, we can't do that. In fact, we wanted to raise you to net 45 or net 60. No way. We want to go net 15. We're concerned you guys are going to go out of business. We're Wells Fargo. We're not going to go out of business. Well, then you have to live with net 30 then. Okay, get it, guys? Then you have the same thing. You're fine with where you're at. But again, if you are owed anything, you need to have someone who's the heavy, who can make the phone calls. Now, I've hired people in the past that loved doing this. They were a rare breed, okay? Oh, I'll ask for the money. I'll drive there. I've had people drive to businesses, listen, I'm not going to take a break today. I'm going to drive there. Can I get some gas money? Sure. Here you go. Okay. That is a rare breed, but you want someone like that just loves to get on the phone with people and find out when the invoices are going to get paid. So I'm telling you guys, the world is hurting right now. And if you think, oh, my business is great, Dan, I don't have any problems right now, you are kidding yourself right now. And with everything that we're living through right now, you have to get yourself ready for what's coming. And you need to protect yourself, and you need to make sure that people are paying you, because you're going to see businesses go out of business right now like you've never seen, but you're going to see industries get completely destroyed during this time that you will be shocked that they're going to be done. And think about this. It's September, guys. It's about to be in the middle of the month. We're about to get to Halloween and Thanksgiving and the shopping season. That's not going to happen this year. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys, because you're going to see businesses go out of business, and you're going to see this be the worst Christmas season on record. That's what experts are predicting. And you got to protect yourself during this time. So let me know what you guys are thinking about all this. I'm going to finish this video with these last couple stories. And the first thing was, there was a guy who was dressing up as a police officer and pulling people over in Colorado. And big mistake, because he pulled over a real cop and got arrested himself, which is great. I mean, isn't that funny? Now, when I was a kid, my brother, when I got my first car, he gave me a floodlight to have in the car. And he said, this will keep you safe at night. You know, if you ever need to look for anything, you can use the floodlight. And then you've got these little discs that fit over the top of it that can, change the color of it to yellow, to red, whatever. Well, one thing I learned driving down the 55 freeway here in Orange County was if I put the red one on the dash of my car and lit it up, cars would get out of the way. Well, needless to say, my brother's like, are you stupid? They think you're a cop. You can't do that. And this was great because the store that sold it to him, and I think it was Kmart back then, recalled these lights because of that very reason, that people were pulling people over. So needless to say, I just thought it was funny that people would get out of the way as a kid. And now this is 40 years ago, so I didn't do this last Thursday or anything like that. Now, the final story was sent to me by someone that runs a channel, Chowhound Life on a Budget. And this is insane. This guy sent me something out of Oakland, California. And I just got to read this. I got to use the cheat sheet of the receipt that he sent me. And I'm going to pop this up on the screen. But take a look at this, you guys. This Oakland restaurant, where you can get, you can get beautiful things like fish and chips, shrimp and chips, lobster mac and cheese. Okay, $45 for the lobster mac and cheese. Now I'm going to slide to the side so you guys can take a look at this. $45 for lobster mac and cheese. And this guy, whoever purchased this, bought a turkey leg to go, but then added pasta and added more lobster to the turkey leg. Okay, now that's not the stunning part of this whole thing. The check was $257. He had stuff for there and stuff to go. But look at this, 18%. Look at that. That's a criminal act, guys. 18% service charge right now for inflation. Have you guys had to pay anything like that? Is there anything out there that you guys are seeing where you're paying these ridiculous service charges? 18%. Now, we've all been to restaurants. Hey, large group, 18% added to your check. This was separate, guys. This wasn't the tip, guys. This was, hey, you want to buy this stuff? It's 18% on all the checks. $257 check is insane, okay, for lobster mac and cheese. I've never had lobster mac and cheese that's ever been any good. I've never had lobster cooked with anything that's been good, ever. And a friend of mine who's, Mr. New Hampshire, who, is the lobster connoisseur, who would buy the live lobsters and bring them home and then invite me over and cook them for me, steam them. And he had to eat them his way with the newspaper and everything on the kitchen table. Again, lobster like this is horrible. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Take a look at our sponsor, AGMRF, guys. Again, You wanted something inexpensive, you wanted a silver company, there you go, guys. AGMRF, Silver Mountain Resources, guys. Onward and upward. I will see you guys very soon.